Now let's take a look at installing Secure Shell on a Windows box. Now, as I said, Windows does not natively come with Secure Shell built in. It does not come with Secure Shell by default when it's installed because it's an open source package and it's not part of the Microsoft suite of applications. However, Windows does support Secure Shell, and you can easily install it from the many different Windows SSH packages that are out there available on the internet. Most of these are free or open source packages, programs that come easy to install with a Windows installer and everything, and you can install them and use Secure Shell from a Windows box to another Secure Shell box like Linux that's running Secure Shell as well. Now, another alternative is a lot of people like to install the Cygwin suite of tools, which are basically Linux native tools that are built inside a kind of an emulator, and you can install that on Windows, and you can use Secure Shell natively through Cygwin and also use other Linux tools as well. We're going to do a demonstration real quick for you on installing a particular Secure Shell client, a very popular client called PuTTY, on Windows, and you can see how easy it is to install, configure, and use it over Windows. Okay, we're in a Windows XP Professional box, and we're going to go ahead and install a Windows Secure Shell client known as PuTTY. PuTTY is a very popular Secure Shell client for Windows. It's not the only one out there, but it is one of the more popular ones out there, and a lot of people use it daily for remote administration, remote file copy, and things of that nature. We've already downloaded PuTTY from the site, and you can do just a search on your favorite search engine like Google to find PuTTY. And we've downloaded the latest version that's out there right now, PuTTY 0.60, I think. We're going to go ahead and install it. There's a simple Windows installer, as you can see, and it's going to, of course, run, give you your little warning about verified publisher. And we're going to select its directory. And you can be okay with going with the defaults if you like. I'm going to create a desktop icon, and there's some other things you can configure as well if you like. And it's a very easy installation. There's usually no issues with it. There's a readme after that you can read after the setup if you like, or at your leisure. Go and click Finish. Now we've got a desktop icon that says PuTTY here, and we're actually going to use that to connect to a system. Now we've got our OpenSUSE 11 box running, our virtual machine. We're going to connect to that box, 172.16.30.20. And we're going to stick with the regular port 22, although we could change the port if we liked. The server would have to be running on that same port. And we're going to tell it which connection type we want, and we want an SSH connection because we can use PuTTY under other types of connections as well, such as Telnet and our login. But we're going to go with an SSH, and we're going to just simply click Open. And the first thing we're going to get is a security alert. Now, the server you connect to and the client has to be able to trust each other. And a RSA key fingerprint, a key rather, is generated by the server, and you have to, the first time you connect to that server, decide whether or not you want to trust it. If you choose to trust it, that key will be cached into your computer, and then the next time you won't get this message. But this usually happens the first time you connect to the computer you're trying to connect to. We're going to say yes, that we trust this computer, and we're going to get the login as screen. So it wants to know what login credentials we're going to use to connect to that box. We're going to connect to it as root, and it should be prompting us for a password, and we're going to have to put in the root password, assuming of course we know it, to connect to that system. Now, one thing I'll point out is logging in as root across Secure Shell is normally not an encouraged practice, and we'll talk about that when we cover security. Normally you want to go ahead and have another account set up with the appropriate privileges assigned and use that to remotely access other computers. We're going to go ahead and log in as root for this one time though. We're going to put in our password, and we're logged into computer A, which is our Linux computer. And just to show that we do have a Linux box, we're going to put in the ls command, and we're going to get the directory listing of that Linux box. So we've connected to a Linux box over Secure Shell using PuTTY. And that's essentially all there really is to connecting, to installing, and using a secure shell client over Windows. Now, there are some things we could do to configure it, and we'll talk about that as we go. But for now, all you need to know is you install it and you run it, and it works very well. So secure shell over Windows works very well.